last, so a very annoying late game. One thing that VG gave me were lacking was a great counter to the last, so they didn't have that Vengeful Spirit or the relocate play, so they had to be cautious about it, and they weren't. They got punished.
Yeah, you could see that VP as well had a lot of different ways to kind of kite the Sven out. They had the stickies all over the place. Once the BKB was getting low, they had an enormous amount of disables with, of course, just Invoker in general.
Invoker's
they have a
like
Lion.
a one-man army
Exactly,
by
like Ember
regard.
Spirit. It's really hard for the Sven to actually stick on anybody in this game, and I think both of them had a pretty damn good performance. Like Yang was extremely farmed at one point with that Midas after they took the bottom tower and everything, but at the end of the day, VP just comes out ahead with their extensive disable and just able to prolong the fight.
We were saying that at several points, like how is Brood this big? How is Brood staying this big? Because ordinarily at some point in the game, you're going to see Brood start to fall off, start to fall behind in farm, and this Brood was able to stay relevant well into the game. But I actually really, those 5th picks in the draft, we have to toss to the casters so quickly. We didn't really get a chance to talk about this. The 5th pick Brood Mother by VGR was great. I thought the Ember Spirit response, and both of those heroes end up against each other mid, was very strong by VP as well.
Yeah. It was just like I was trying to get toward like at the end there is they had a really good job of prolonging the fights as the game progressed. So Sven's BKB starts ticking down, Warcry wears off. What are you going to be doing in those fights? Invoker just completely controls you. Like we were saying, they just have a lot of different ways of just kiting the fights.
I forget who it was. Someone on the panel yesterday mentioned Invoker seems to like have that power curve where he's a little bit weak in the mid game when everyone's got high level BKBs. He hasn't got the point where he's fully maxed out on all the orbs, but late game Invoker has a huge power spike because the BKBs get lower and because he's able to cycle through spells constantly. We definitely saw that this game. They were super reliant on having BKBs up as well. And I think the other thing we saw was the Brood played great, but it's a Brood in the end. You get to the late game. How much can you do? You can give the hero 30, 40K net worth. It's just not going to offer what an Ember Spirit is, what an Invoker will in team fights. And
exactly.
That's why they had to be very careful about how they approach things. So I think we did see a limitation in the draft, but they could have won with the draft. It just, there wasn't as much room for error as with other cores.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was going to say. Like, just those small mistakes added up, and that's what ended up costing them the game.
So I guess the question is, just building on what we said before, the panel discussion is a little bit different because I think there are great positives here for both teams. Guys, is there anything that you look to change, in particular for either of these teams going into Game 2? I feel like VGR have to be saying to themselves, you know what, if we had that to do over again, we were in a game-winning position.
I think it's just back to fundamentals and something Na'Vi we've mentioned in the past 2 days, has really improved on. It's tough to do in the middle of a series, but be more disciplined. Make sure make sure you have your buybacks ready, that you wait for the next Roshan, that you aren't diving for kills. Like 4 heroes jumping in, they committed all their BKBs just to kill an Invoker with buyback when Batrider's respawning. You can't make those mistakes late game. So I think primarily for VG Gaming, they say the draft was fine, the lanes were fine, the mid-game decision-making was good, but it was just the down-the-stretch late-game decision-making that needs to be improved.
Yeah, just like you're saying, like lack of like a full discipline, I feel like.
Yeah. It's tough when your coach is also playing, and I mean, who knows how much missing no-no is affecting the shot calling in game.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, those big like tempo-controlling mids will be asked to do a bit more in the mid-game, but hey, can't make excuses at this point. You're stuck with the roster you have for the rest of the tournament.
Do you think we're going to see a lane, kind of that lane swap-up continue? Because I thought they looked like a lot more confident with Mikasa in that off-lane role, maybe against a hero that he was going to be able to get a little bit more from.
It's a nice tool to have in their arsenal. If they're going to put a mid, again, what I said in the pregame, I think still applies, that pick them a mid that's much more self-sufficient. So Puck, Quap, things like that.
Yep, agree.
Okay. Well, all right, guys. We are going to take a short break here. Hopefully we'll have some of the lag issues cleaned up as well for Game 2. But we're going to take a break, and we will come back just ahead of our Game 2 draft.
E-Gaming Bets. We accept bets on computer games online since 2011. Referral system for regular users and the first deposit bonus. Gaming devices store and the best choice of payment systems. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, Counter-Strike and StarCraft, World of Tanks and League of Legends. EGB.com. You know for sure who's going to win.
All right, we're coming right back, guys. I've just gotten word that all 10 players are ready, so we should be into our draft here shortly. Once again, Nahaz, LD, Fogged here on the panel. We're going into Game 2 with VP having a 1-0 lead in this best-of-3 series. VGR are going to be looking to turn it around here in Game 2. Anything in particular you guys are looking for? We covered a lot of things in the post-game show already.
I'm trying to think. I didn't mind the draft. I liked the draft for Vici well enough. I think they showed it was a lot stronger than what we expected. I don't know that there's a hero that really needs to change for them. What do you think?
I don't think so either. Like, I was really happy to see like Xiao Sven. He was doing a really good job finding like pickoffs all over the place somehow, like by himself. We saw him kill Aloha Dance like 2 or 3 times out of position. And I mean, you could see he got very farmed. He looked very confident on the hero as well. So it was great to see that. And I think that they should just keep building on their comfortable type heroes.
I mean, if anything, maybe VP should prioritize the Sven ban because it was banned earlier in the draft yesterday.
I think it's been banned against
first
almost every game in the tournament. Yeah.
And I mean, it's not often you see a Sven first ban. So it just seems he's like super comfortable in the hero.
Yeah. No, and I think there's even more of an argument when you have a younger team, a team that's not as experienced playing together. I think those targeted bans like that become that much more powerful because you want to keep those younger players off of their comfort heroes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the only other thing is if they do have a pocket strat or something cheesy or different that can just be a new look that VP's not ready for, now is the time to pull it out if they want to mix it up. But I don't think they need to. It's more if they feel like, all right, our standard stuff just isn't working at this point. We've lost 3 games in a row. We got to change something.
Yeah, that's something we should point out that VGR are a little bit more of a threat to do that than some of the other Chinese teams. They're very comfortable running these lineups around early aggression.
Yeah, I think one thing that they could like change up, I guess, just from this last game is just maybe just stay away from the jungle Beastmaster just because if you just did it last game, like you don't want to just copy the same type of thing. Maybe just have FY go for, like you were saying, this different type of aggressive support rather than just a farming support.
It's so tough, though, with that because as much as
it did pay off.
Yeah, it worked so well. Like, I felt VP had very, very strong performances in 2 out of the 3 lanes, but when you win the jungle that hard, it really is like having an Enigma farming.
Yeah. I mean, he's just so farmed. I mean, it's like level 6 minutes, and he makes the smoke rotation, and they get like 3 kills. Like, what else can you ask for out of your
jungler? What is that hero, I guess, is the question then, because they're not getting Enchantress very likely. They're definitely not getting the Bounty Hunter. Those, to me, are the big 2. If you want FY to be aggressive.
Earth Spirit.
Earth Spirit, that's the other option. Often we see all 3 banned in the first phase.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I guess they could let it through. A lot of it comes down to who's first pick. I mean, looking at some of their slightly farther back drafts, is there anything that jumps out at you? Oh, we actually already have it up.
I mean, maybe they go for that Lifestealer that they did the other day.
Yeah, the Lifestealer. I mean,
it was really interesting. They played really well around it.
Lifestealer just destroys him with Rage. So maybe they pick a carry that matches up better against a lot of kiting and control. But again, Sven was great. It's hard to look at one of those heroes and say, oh, this hero lost them the game. It was.
What struck me, though, about that lineup that you're talking about, even more so than the Lifestealer, was the 4 Blink Daggers plus the Queen of Pain.
Yeah.
It was the fact that the entire lineup was built around mobility. We are into our Game 2 draft here, so we're going to get to see the answers to some of these questions. But I'd like to see, if there's one thing, I'd like to see a little bit more mobility here out of VGR.
So
Chen ban, they don't want to play against it again.
Bounty Hunter likely to get banned here. Earth Spirit could end up slipping through, especially if VGR don't ban it. So they're going to start with the Enchantress, but I imagine VP is going to ban the Bounty Hunter as well. If not, I think, let's say they both, no, VGR.
Wow, VGR ban it for them.
So if you ban the Earth Spirit as VP, and FY had a magnificent Earth Spirit game yesterday, no, they're going to let it through.
Yeah, I think the Earth Spirit is.
They're kind of tempting them to take it. Because then VP, what? They get the Invoker,
Beastmaster. They're just sticking with it.
Yeah, it feels like that first overall pick, Earth Spirit, has become a bit of a trap pick, or teams feel that way. So they get it as a second pick.
I mean, it is so hard to argue with going for that again, just because it seems like, he's going to be so consistently level 6 at 6 minutes. I mean, you were making that point early in the last game, Fogg, that he didn't really even have that favorable of camps in that last game.
He got like Centaurs and everything, and Ursas, I'm pretty sure. Like, those are like the worst, but he ended up making it work. And
he was sitting around on 10 HP. He's like, I got to use my Iron Talon one more time.
Scary.
It's off cooldown. Boars were tanking the creeps. It's fine.
But, boy, once again, the big worry for me after seeing this open out of both sides, you've got G on his Comfort Hero mid. I know they ran it in the safe lane the last game. And you've got that Earth Spirit that's capable of pressuring the enemy mid laner. boy, if they end up running Mikasa mid here again, I think that could be a real problem.
Well, got to pick him a strong hero if they're going to run a mid.
Yep.
I think Mikasa, yeah, he's not going to win his lane. He can hold his own and limit the damage, but if you put him on something like a Death Prophet or a hero with no escape mechanism and the Earth Spirit's roaming there and he doesn't have help, yeah, he's going to feed.
How'd you feel about FY going just for the Vlad's Blink Aghanims? I know he was playing versus the Chen, so he didn't. I feel like he was kind of pushed away from going for that book.
I wasn't sure about the Ags. I guess it's the extra range is nice to have against the Bat Rider was probably the main thinking there.
It's reduced cooldown as well, right?
Yeah,
reduced cooldown.
Like by 15 seconds, I believe. Goes up to like 40 or 45.
In general, I would say overall, I feel the refresher build's just stronger because you win that one fight with the double roar more important than like the slightly more frequent pickoffs. But I think he probably got it more for the range, to be honest. But yeah, it's hard to know for sure.
We saw Bulldog do really, really well with an early-ish refresher the other day, too.
Yeah. But it was an interesting deviation because most Beastmasters go for the refresher right now.
Yeah, that Brood performance in the last game was just remarkable. I thought if they win that game, I was ready to give him player of the match.
So VP are dire this time. Any big like Roshan heroes? The Lycan is something they have run in the past quite a bit.
Yeah, they're gonna. This is a hero we talked about a lot yesterday. Pretty controversial for these CIS teams. The Oracle pickup out of Virtus.Pro. Do you see that working for them in this game?
It's good versus the Beastmaster.
They probably haven't picked Yang's hero yet.
Yeah, they haven't picked Yang's hero, so they're kind of like making him steer away from that Darkseer and everything that we've been seeing.
It could be a Yang Beastmaster, but you can't assume it is.
I really want to comment though on VP's third and fourth bans right there. So they banned the DP and the OD. So right away, like we've been saying, they want to secure G's game 100%. And now this opens up the possibilities of the Earth Spirit being able to easily go toward those mid ganks because DP and OD are probably two of the better heroes at dealing with that because of course you can just
you have the Siphon or you can just Astral and try and wait for help. So.
Yeah, so you really are. Yeah, you're pretty much backed into either the Queen of Pain or the Windrunner at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the Juggernaut works well against Earth Spirit, but not going to lane well against an Invoker who's getting help. So
yeah, and when I think when you have a player that's playing as a stand-in, just coming back, he's obviously got some technical aptitude. Does Mikasa, but asking him to run a Juggernaut mid when he's probably not familiar, that's a pretty tough order.
Yeah, like you're saying. Queen of Pain is decent, but Earth Spirit is also just super obnoxious throughout all stages of the game because, of course, the stun and the silence.
How do you guys feel about Lifestealer this game? You're up against heroes that don't really deal with Magic community that well.
That might be it.
They have the Hawk.
Sven's still on the table, though.
After seeing that last game...
seeing that last game makes
later
you
on
less
I
likely?
mean, it's more how like at what point they think they can end the game because later on the Sven was getting dealt with. Maybe it's more about having the defensive support, someone that can bail him out or reset the fights.
Yeah, I think if anything after that last game, if Sven's still on the table, I'm gonna go with that again.
It didn't close out the game. Oh, interesting pick. Night Stalker. So it is the offlane Beastmaster?
Not necessarily.
Or is this
keeping it open?
Remember that LGD went for the offlane Zhao 8 Night Stalker I believe that was in the opening series of the tournament.
So either way, there is an Iron Talon jungler. There's no. Are we going to see an offlane Night Stalker Beastmaster mid?
And if one of the two of them is going to be Iron Talon jungling, I will take the Beastmaster every time because he can do it so fast.
Maybe they do. Maybe they do some kind of dual lane with the Night Stalker because they know the Earth Spirit kind of wants to help out the mid lane, and Oracle's not the strongest alone inside of a support. Maybe if they do like this Beastmaster Night Stalker dual lane if they want to.
Just run at them. Oracle's pretty squishy.
We have FNG Darkseer, which I think all of us were saying did seem like he was a little bit uncomfortable on it. He got a lot of one-man vacuums, but he did farm very well. He got his items, and then later on in the stages of the game, he was able to be a big presence.
Yeah, that was versus Alliance.
Yeah.
Yes. That was in that day one series when they just looked completely out of joint. And again,
this feels like a different team already.
Yes, it does.
Absolutely.
That was exactly what I was about to bring up. That FNG's obviously learning the offlane role and captaining and calling the shots. It's a lot to be responsible for, but we've seen him respond in the last few games.
Yeah, and I like this too because it opens up obviously the options for the Earth Spirit to move to different lanes. He can start even in the bottom lane, then make the transitions toward the mid lane. Maybe even do it. I think it was EG was doing a lot with the Earth Spirit. Is he gets the Ion Shell and TP somewhere, and then he uses that as his extra damage that he needs.
So this is what we talked about in the pregame analysis: getting something that's self-sufficient, harder to gank. I mean, not unkillable with the Earth Spirit Silence, but not easy to kill either.
Yeah.
Right, and this is that's a page out of the Alliance playbook when you want to leave somebody on an island mid. Puck's one of the heroes, very effective at that.
It's something that I don't think Vici like almost ever played though, because whenever they have No, right?
Yep.
Yeah, whenever they have No, he doesn't really play that type of hero. So it's going to be a little bit interesting. It's definitely a change up from what they're used to, but if Mikasa's comfortable on it, then we'll see how it works out.
The Sven did get banned there as the final ban, so it will be a different carry. And I mean, now Lifestealer feels great with a Puck to get him into the fight.
Maybe I think that's probably what they're setting up, because it's very similar to a draft that they had the other day. They have the Beastmaster, they have the line which they had. They don't have the Darkseer, unfortunately, but they have everything else. They have the tools, they have the vehicles. Could be a good option.
The other two options that historically they've gone with a little more than the Lifestealer, although I agree that's a good one, are the Gyrocopter and the Spectre.
For VGR, you're saying?
For VGR, yep.
Okay.
Yep. The Lifesteal, Sven, Gyro, and Spectre have been their three big carry choices for GY.
Spectre
so
feels risky against Darkseer, yes, though. You're
I
going
like
to have
Gyro.
a Lion support. I think Gyro's a lot safer here. Because if the Air Spirit decides to focus on bottom with the Darkseer, like they could just run over a Lion Spectre.
I like the Gyrocopter because he's one of those BKB carriers that you can get very early, and Virtus.Pro's lineup right now is very, very spell damage oriented.
Now VP have plenty of time here, but they're looking for their carry as well.
So
we've seen the Chaos Knight out of Yoku. We saw the Ember Spirit in the last game. Any favorites here, guys?
Yeah, he also plays Sven. That's banned. We've seen him play Slark.
Slark,
I don't know.
Lycan.
Slark's. This seems like
Lycan I
a
mentioned
bad Slark
earlier.
game.
Lycan feels.
Slark.
Wow, I don't
Okay.
know, guys. I don't know.
Is it a good Slark game?
I mean, it's good to.
You've got
It's
you
good
got
to remove,
Puck
of
and Night
course.
Stalker with silences.
Yeah, there's a
You've
lot of
got
silence, a lot of
Lion with the
disable.
instantaneous lockdown and the finger. I mean, we saw QO's Slark get absolutely ruined by the Lion. You got the initial lockdown from the Roar. This is a very tough
If
Slark
they went
game to
Gyro, there's also a lot of AoE damage. You have the Hawk Vision, which limits how often you get to use the Shadow Dance, but
That could also
they
be.
have the Oracle to keep Slark alive.
That
That's
could
one
also
nice
be
thing.
the indicator for Vici to do the dual aggressive lane that I was talking about before, because now Oracle and Slark isn't the strongest.
Okay,
and
there's
wow,
the
Good call,
Spectre.
Alan. You called the Spectre there.
Good call, Alan.
Yeah, and I got guys. I really have to go with VGR in this one because I think that Slark pick is going to get heavily punished. Predictions?
I'll go with you. I'll say VGR as well.
Yeah, I think VGR.
Okay, it's a clean sweep on the panel. Let's see if VGR can stay alive in this series, sending it out to our casters, KotLGuy and Ryuu.
Thank you, Nahaz, here with Ryuu again. Now the panel, again unanimous on the decision for VG.Reborn. None of them even care to bother for VP.
I care about VP. I'm going to pick VP then. How about that, guys? And the panel didn't notice something that we did. They didn't really talk about the Beastmaster and Night Stalker kind of countering act each other. And I like that last pick because it's going to be nighttime a lot more. And what Slark provides is that extra vision here in the match. And that's going to help them a lot when they're trying to dodge ganks. Because as long as you're fast on the Q, yeah, sure, they have a lot of lockdowns. But I can see this working out for the Slark if he has the Ion Shell on top of him. Sure, there are a lot of magic damage bursts, but with that Spectre last pick, they, like Fog talked about, they don't have the really big BKB carrier. And so I think VP are going to be able to roll them with the spell damage. But that's not to say that these picks are still very strong from VGR right now. They're going to be constantly running at you. I mean, I could just see VP getting rolled fast here, but we'll have to see.
Who do you think the laning stage is more critical for in this particular matchup? I mean, I tend to side with probably for VG.Reborn that they're going to have to just make sure they can keep things safe, have the Spectre continue to farm up, and avoid the pressure from someone like the Earth Spirit. But does that mean that Virtus.Pro need to make sure they can succeed in being extra aggressive in the laning phase, or do you think that it's something completely different?
I think you just need to try to make sure you can shut down the Beastmaster as much as possible in this off lane for VP so they don't have all their utilities. But, I mean, we're going to see an Iron Talent FY Night Stalker here. This is going to be very scary roaming around once that first night comes in. Yeah, it's going to be on that. Once that first night hits, how much can VGR get done for me? And then obviously the second night's probably going to be where, you know, maybe this mid game is kind of decided.
We'll see how things do decide to pan out here. You do have the pressure of the early Ion Shell Earth Spirit potentially coming underway as he got that early Orb of Venom, so expect him to kind of dish out the continuous pressure. Never an easy target, though, when you're going against someone like the Puck here, so I'm going to be keeping close eyes here to see how No Fear is going to decide to kind of change up where he wants to make an approach, probably more so towards the bottom lane. If anything, he'll go for the first roll, and it's a swing and a miss. And hey, almost a free courier. He'll just try his best to keep Mikasa's zone back a bit and allow G to get that first big boost of CS.
Oh, you just saw that lane block coming out from the Earth Spirit, and whereas Mikasa got no help, this is just unfair right now.
It's pretty much a full wave lost right here at the start, and that is a huge
Slark
boost
pounced
for bottom
already
lane. Yeah, they make a go for FNG actually on the bottom here. They get a nice stun. He even pops out the salve there at the end. First blood going to be going away for VG.Reborn as they do strike first.
Yeah, I'm glad you saw that because I was watching top lane as Yang was getting gone on too. Yoku made the pounce and Aloha taking a lot of heavy right clicks. But there you go. That's how you can punish the Darkseer, just playing a little bit too aggressive here. And I was very surprised Nofir maybe didn't start off in the bottom lane.
He's here now though, and he has that island shell. And FNG.
Top lane.
Love to have the assistance here, and as you
They're
say,
softening
top
him
lane. And whenever they can connect that pounce, this should be 2 Purifying Flames, and that is going to be a nice little pick off there. Yoku will pick up the last hit, and that's the thing. I mean, Purifying Flames, even at level 1, does some respectable nuking damage, but it's the low cooldown, and if you have a pounce, that's easily 2, maybe even 3.
Oh, here we go.
Gang. Roll connection going to be happening here for DDC, and now Nofir begins to go to work with help of the Iron Shell. They have the damage, but it's a 3-on-1. They even give him the Surge. They want it so bad, but they are not going to get it. They will lose their Earth Spear on this one.
So bad for FNG.
He does not have a Surge. He cannot make it away. Will this be back-to-back takedowns of the Darkseer? Well, he's like, I'm going to head for the freaking trees and try my best to juke here. Has the Surge now. FY will continue to scout him on out. DDC not going to get hit with a Sunstrike. A roll in from Nofir is again going to be a miss. Oh, will be back-to-back takedowns onto him. He gets a Surge save from FNG. And, man, all of these lanes, high tensions.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. FNG didn't have the double Ion Shell, and he would really love to have level 3. That's when you start dishing out a ton of damage with the double Ion. But, yeah, Nofir is swinging and missing in this early game. But as we see, sometimes you miss those early. But once he gets level 6, you just see that magnetize and how they can be MVPs of fights.
Definitely makes it a lot easier if you're able to kind of get off those early rolls to boost up the XP and get to that level 6 much sooner. Because otherwise, and Earth Spirit is not a farming hero, not at all. So you're planning on farming heroes.
Yeah, and I want to say he's only level 1 right now. This is
it's pretty standard when you don't land those rolls. So he'll just have to find his own way to recover a bit. The Iron Shells will begin to level up, and it'll make his job a bit easier whenever he wants to look and engage.
But yeah, it was a nice play coming in from FY, not just starting off in the jungle, else they would have gotten rolled in the bottom lane if they didn't have the Night Stalker support there.
Uh-oh, Yang could be in trouble. They're going to lead off early. Purifying Flames, they catch him with the stun, makes it easy for the pounce connection there for Yoku. Another Purifying Flames, and there it is. A right click should come out, and they're going to get the kill. Nofir is like, please let me have the XP. Tries to roll in for it, but another good little gank maneuver, and as they punish Yang in the offlane once more.
Man, Aloha is just making Oracle look broken right now. He is just on fire, and it helps. Oh, meanwhile, I was just denying. Okay. Yeah. But it's just playing it so effectively, softening up the target there early on.
Yeah.
And just great play. And then Yoku, this is going to help him out a lot. It's going to be curious to see what he goes for. I mean, is he going to go, that greedy Midas route?
Is the lane going that well where you go for something like the Midas here? I mean, don't really put it past him.
Well, we'll see soon because either you rush the Midas now or you should get Aquila, just for that extra mana sustain in the lane.
Well, you do already have the Aquila built up here for G. He went with, again, that Arteezy kind of Invoker efficiency build-up.
I think you still need it on the Slark eventually. You just need that mana regen desperately, and as well as the stats are always nice.
They both could end up having a pretty similar item build if G also goes for the Midas. So it could put VP in a situation where they're going to be playing things a bit greedy early on. It will be on VG.Reborn to kind of punish him for it. So FY heads to the jungle once again. This time he will have the Iron Talon, of course, and begins the grind up a farm. The Nightfall is down here, so how much pressure is it on him to be able to kind of use this first nighttime to get some early pickoffs?
Well, because he had to help the bottom lane early on, he's kind of forced now to get that level 4. I mean, Night Stalker is very scary when you have that silence to work with, but other than that, it's going to be it has to have a nice, kind of dream coil to set it up. We're looking at Spectre now, still not level 6. Once that's online, we could see ZYF getting very active, and that's when the pressure is going to have to come. We haven't really touched here on the mid lane, Dakota. It's pretty much even, 22 last hits for the Puck as well as, 29 for the Invoker. I would say that's pretty good for Mikasa, all things considered. We talk about him being a little bit weak in the lane stage, but he's doing a very good job against an Invoker as well as G, so.
Uh-oh. Yang might be in trouble here. No Fear is rotating in from behind. He's
TP.
now level 3, and he actually went with a 1-1-1
Oh,
build up here.
Already, so
it kicked very early. The roll is not going to be there. I mean, typically you want to roll in, get the scout out, and yeah, reserve the stun in case of something like that. But Yang will be able to make it back to base. It still gets him out of the lane.
G-mid.
Yeah, they get the coil committed. It is going to snap. Mikasa jumps in with the help of the orb, and FY there to assist. Rotation from No Fear, but he still doesn't have that stun. In fact, they might even look for a double up here. Yeah, he didn't even use the grip. Okay. Oh, commitment in from the Haunt from Spectre on this one. FY, he's running up and around right here. He's going to look to make a move. He jumps in, has still one more urn to work with, gets it onto him, and I think this is going to be a kill. It certainly will be. The urn will tick through, and it is a killing spree already for the FY Night Stalker. This guy is Dracula.
Yeah, he's got his urn too. This is just looking very bad for VP, but this is kind of to be expected from VGR at their first nighttime and their first Haunt. So as long as they can just weather the storm here, get their levels up, and just starting to get active. Because that was really weird for me. Earth Spirit TP's in and doesn't silence the Lion. Like, he had ample opportunity to do it, and he didn't go for the standard, right? He didn't go for the 2 points and stuns because he's like, okay, well, they have a lot of potential, spells that can be thrown mid lane. They're diving.
Oh, a jump behind. It's going to force G to run south, but he is completely surrounded here, and they just absolutely slaughter him. G's going to be taken down, and VG.Reborn on an absolute assault in the early game, making the most out of this first nighttime.
That's the problem that you can see. You're just going to get run at constantly for the Invoker mid lane, and they don't have the necessary levels on their supports to really help them out at the moment. So he's just going to have to weather the storm. Probably go back into the jungle and farm would have been nice for the Invoker. I mean, but you can see it at the same time, this tower is going to get taken down here very shortly, I feel, for VGR. They're going to take it.
This does put G in a bit of an awkward situation, and as you mentioned, like where he can find the recovery farm for himself. Let's go back and touch base here with the bottom lane where we have FNG. He is now level 6, looking to push up to near level 7. He's got plenty of Iron Shells to work with here, so maybe him and No Fear should kind of get back together at this point. They are going to give No Fear the time in the mid lane to kind of get some solo XP.
She just returned to the mid lane. Oh.
And Coil's already up.
Yeah, if they had Haunt to work with, I feel for
2 seconds and some mana, they'll have it.
They could just TP back to base. Yeah, they want to make the play here. It's going to happen somewhere. It is daytime, but as we know, FY, level 6 already. Just playing like a monster.
And they're going to take their business all the way up towards the top lane here. We check the vision, and they do kind of see something is a bit fishy here, but it might be too late. Yoku tries to pounce to make it away from the trouble, but the damage is already coming. It's on for Aloha Dance. There's a long orb. Can they make it a follow-up for 2 kills? Stun connection there from No Fear. He rolls in trying to slow down Yang, but they have already set their sights for Yoku, and they will get that high priority kill. And look at that. They'll even get rewarded with a 3-man kill. Double kill for Mikasa. VG.Reborn continue their assault, now 8-2 at the start of this one.
Yep, they're just doing every single thing right, and they're even giving levels on DDC. He's going to be up to level 6 on his Lion very shortly, and this is looking very bad for Virtus.Pro. That was kind of weird. They felt the gank was coming, right, but yet Slark wanted to go back to the tower. There was no TP rotations just because of the lack of levels, and Invoker just wants to stay in lane and farm. He needs to get up, so he can't really come to these team fights, and I think Slark could have just maybe went to the left, TP'd out, but it looks like they want to contest here. Not having that nighttime available now, this is when Virtus.Pro need to get proactive, and they need to start making things happen.
It's a bit difficult, though, with G kind of getting bullied a bit in the mid lane, does suppress his farm quite a bit. And with Yoku committing for the Midas here, does make things a bit greedy on their end, and so they don't really have a whole lot of ammunition to work with in some of these fights to come. And they might have to just kind of put it on hold in the meantime here. And it looks like DDC is trying to get a finish here for the Tier 1 mid lane. Will anyone show up from Virtus.Pro to deny it, or is this be a free Lion takedown? He wants it. Well, he's going to have to leave it in deny range, and I think they're just going to roll through and quickly deny it. Okay, so easy deny there from Virtus.Pro. Very nicely done by them, and
they're already smoking up. They have eyes on Invoker here.
They don't care if it's daytime. They're going to continue this. Uh-oh. G's just like, I need to find farm somewhere, but they quickly jump. They commit both of the ultimates, the coil, the finger, and that is the end of the Invoker here. Now a roll in from No Fear. Still no level 6 yet, but he gets a nice stun on the both of them. And then a pull through silence here. Mikasa, though, will be able to orb away from trouble.
He's got blink in 3 seconds if needed, and yeah, they just can't chase. I mean, what is with these invis runes? Another one here for FY. Last one was on Puck.
He's eyeballing No Fear here, but not really going to be going in for. I was going to mention it before. Virtus.Pro were able to get one ward there at the bottom, but they were kind of really sitting in the dark up to this point, while VG have 2 very deep, aggressive wards, allowing FY to continue to stalk, and he's going to see Aloha dance here. Oh, he's been spotted now. Pops out the darkness, turns onto him instead, and quickly slaughters apart Aloha dance with assistance coming in from the ZYF Haunt right now. No Fear in a bit of trouble at this point, but Yoku's here now with FNG, and they quickly look to make the retreat while up and above they make the go for G. Invoker's in trouble, and here comes the duo between Yang with the help of the setup and the roar. It's going to allow.
Oh, they are going to be able to get a FY here on the backside. Yep. So at least they get some rebuttal, but it's,
Mikasa.
Yeah, Mikasa.
Orbs right in the face of No Fear as he tries to roll away to safety. For every one little thankful pickoff Virtus.Pro is able to get, VG.Reborn continue to get that much more.
They're just having a very hard time of it just initiating right now for VP. Like, if you look at their lineup, they need to get their farm going early on, and they can't just give away the kills. They need to get something done with that Earth Spirit as well as that Darkseer roaming around early on, and it didn't happen. They're lacking the levels, and then during the team fights, it's like, okay, how do we stun people? How do we get on them? We're just playing very reactive and defensive Dota for VP right now. So this Oracle, even though you did get a lot of kills, onto the Beastmaster, it's just not allowing you for the setups.
Now nighttime again. This has got to be a bit unnerving if you're Virtus.Pro. Expect them to really employ the buddy-buddy system at this point. No one can really afford to be out on their own and allowed to be an easy target here for an FY setup. And with Haunt feeling like it's always out there and at the ready, 20 seconds before it's up once again, I just don't imagine Virtus.Pro are really going to be able to go on the offensive anytime soon here.
Yeah, I think they can once Earth Spirit can have his level 6, but he's only level 5, and until then, that's their only form of initiation right now for No Fear. Oh, just missing the Sentry Ward. That hurts a lot. I mean, you have the Slark kind of scouting out. They thought there was something on this high ground here, but it was just a Hawk. Yep, then we see the pickoff there. Haunt.
Oh, and they want to get a hold of No Fear possibly. No, they'll look to turn back. There's going to be the coil committed. They're going to quickly get G, and they're going to go ahead and take down No Fear. This is just domination coming out from VG.Reborn as they quickly take the lives of 3 once more.
Nice execution so far from VGR in their lineup. Perfect. And just VP, you know, not getting enough done in the early stage. And they're just going around constantly taking them out of their comfort zone, having these deep wards aggressively. And the pressure doesn't stop. And they just have no answer. Even bottom lane here, Yoku going greedily for this tower.
He's like, I really want that money, but they're just going to kill him. And they get the tower deny. He's going to try his best to make it out with the Shadow Dance here. Aloha Dance will be there to aid with the help of FNG. And now they're considering a turnaround here for FY. He pops out the darkness, and they're going to be able to burst him down. G finally gets a kill for himself. 1-5 now, assisting with the Sunstrike.
I mean, he's level 8 at 14 minutes in the game. Holy cow, G is not having good.
It has been a hard game for him.
That one kill, though, giving a lot of money over to the Invoker. He's getting his levels finally. Finally has the 1 point in Wex. Maybe they could use his, you know, Ghost Walk to get away, but they've been on. I mean, Mikasa is just doing everything this game. He's been everywhere, setting up a lot of the kills. Their lineup is very easy to execute with the Haunt now, and as Nahaz said, it's just the perfect pickup for them to play very aggressive every single time the Haunt is available. They can't even defend this top tower. There's just no way for them to win a team fight.
They're just going to have to let that one go here and just try to find their own way for going for some pickoffs. They have the Magnetize now up and at the ready for No Fear. So he hustles his way down to rendezvous with the rest of his team. And
they also have the vacuum wall combination mechanisms online. This is as big as Virtus.Pro right now besides Yoku's Blink.
No, DDC around the corner. They've already made their move for FY. The Boulder Smash is going to miss. The Pounce is also going to miss. And it looks like this gank can miss altogether. But now a retort coming out from VG.Reborn as they commit in the Haunt. But they get a big vacuum wall combo, and the Magnetize is going to be here. Disengage comes out from VG.Reborn, but I don't know if FY is going to be able to make it away. He's good. Gets himself with the urn, and surprisingly, no one going to be going down, but just as I say that, they make their commitment for FNG with Mikasa setting it up. Jumps in, Coil follow-up, looking to make a go for a Aloha dance. Can they cancel the TP? No, yes they can! DDC makes it just in time with the Hex, and it's going to lead to a double kill for FY. That was all started with that was a Virtus.Pro gank attempt on the mid lane, and it looked like they had a beautiful setup with a team fight, a vacuum, wall combo,
They
magnetize.
just didn't save the kick. Like, they used the kick to try and initiate first on FY, but the lockdown is hurting them tremendously right now for Virtus.Pro.
I mean, you don't get to see it very often except for maybe more of the advanced Earth Spirits, but the commitment on initiating with the roll in, and then as you're rolling in, you can kick a stone forward. Being a lot closer to the target would certainly make it a lot easier to make those connections with the boulder smash, but we're seeing time and time again that the initiating boulder smash is just missing its mark, and then you're down a stun for the fight.
Yeah, but if they had this Blink Dagger last team fight, this would have, I think they would have gotten at least 2 or 3 kills, and now they have it.
Another Invis rune.
Mikasa.
The theme of the game right now is Mikasa is going to be here. He does not have the coil, but he has plenty of time to wait for it. Just kind of eyeballing the movement here from Virtus.Pro. Will wait before he calls out any sort of rotation from the rest of his team. FY with his boost of early farm, a 6-3-6 performance from him so far, as he has the point booster. Once that Ags comes online,
yeah, he's 1,000 gold away.
That's just crazy.
I mean, they do have, like I talked about during the draft, they have ways to like help against the darkness. It's going to be the Slark giving extra vision, but he realistically needs to be, well, he is the top of the net worth right now, but he needs, 2-3K more. He's going to have the, it's going to be very hard this game because he still needs to have the BKB, but he also wants some kind of, he wants more stats and he wants a good, agility item like, Scotty, or even that Sange and Yasha we saw from Loda the other day isn't too bad, but yeah, you're just going to get controlled in the team fights. Yoku's desperately trying to find somebody. I think they see them on the low ground there.
Okay, can they make the go? The haunt is going to be
up
there.
The
vacuum pullback wall, kick setup, and they make quick and easy work, taking down the 2. FY tries to respond with the darkness, and now they look to focus on him. Mikasa, nice set with the
buyback.
coil. Buyback, Haunt comes out, and VG.Reborn looking for their own responses. They take the lives of 2, make it 3 with the takedown of FNG. They try to get the catch here, looking to make a grab for Yoku. He blinks away, he pounces out. They still pinging right on top of him here. He has no TP scroll, and he's just hiding, hugging that tree and praying. Pounce again to the north to make it away, but I don't think he could slip away from this one. That is 4 going down all day from the side of Virtus.Pro. It was a strong and confident start, but good decision to make the buyback.
Yep. That buyback worked out perfectly. It'd be nice if they could transition into something now, though. Like, they did get the kills, but since VP are lacking a lot on the levels, they should be respawning really soon. And at least you can see what VP can do, right? And their coordination is so on point right now. So I worry still for VGR if they get picked off more, but VGR still in the driver's seat here. They don't have the best Roshan lineup. So both of these teams are like, oh, well, even if we get these kills, it's just going to be a bloodbath this game. You can't just get Roche easily. You can get objectives, but it's only going to be like 1 tower here.
Yeah.
And then so it's going to be on like, I guess you could say you could get Roche with the Beastmaster and his Necro 3s as well as his Inner Beast, but it's not ideal. They don't have enough, minus armor for Roche just yet. But it looks like this is going to be the second smoke now for VP.
They're like, well, there's no haunt this time. No buyback this time.
Oh, they're just going to dodge it, though.
But yeah, it looks to be completely dodged here as they make their movement across the northern part of this map. The rest of VG Gaming are all the way down on the southern front here, back into their own grind of farm. Agnum Scepter is in hand right now for FY and has the gem too. So this could leave Virtus.Pro in the dark. We check their map vision right now, and it is already pretty damn limited. While things continue to thrive nicely as far as the map control goes for VG.Reborn.
Kind of curious to see what G is going to go for now. He has 2K gold up. He did go for the Blink Dagger last game, but against this lineup, it's so hard to be in an Invoker's shoes. You always want to go for that Ags quick rush, but they have so many silences, so many disables that you're forced to go for, you can't go Manta style on Invoker, so best option is still a BKB or Ags, and yeah, it looks like he's still going to go for the Ags here. He's just going to have to position himself really well on the back lines, and you do have the bailout, right? Aloha, he has 2 potential purges here with the Fortune's End, as well as the False Promise, getting off the silences. He's just going to have to, yep, Aloha dance show. Let's see it.
Looking right now as FY goes stalking about right now. We look at his vision, and it's just like a complete radar on this map. Looking to make his sweeps right here. And this forces Virtus.Pro in a very timid positioning. And if we look over,
Should look at the net worth right now. Look at this. It's only 5,000 considering they're up like 21-7. So it's not that big of a lead as the score kind of like misleads you here.
yeah, Virtus.Pro do continue to find their own economy gains and grind out the farm in the meantime.
Aloha,
but here comes, yeah, trouble for Aloha Dance. FNG is going to be nearby. He will show himself. They quickly finger and take out the Oracle, and now there's going to be a vacuum wall from FNG. It looks pretty good, but is the follow-up going to be there? They quickly make work of the Darkseer as well, and now VG.Reborn can reposition and follow up with the objective here on this Tier 2. Actually, even the Tier 1 is still up, a full Tier 1 at that. So they'll quickly make work of this, and maybe even could even push in for the Tier 2 as well.
I mean, who makes that play when a Tier 1 tower is still up, right? You just hit what? They just went so far
That's why I
deep.
was
It's
like, there's a Tier 1 still up.
It's like they were not ready for that at all. Just really good understanding from VGR. Maybe realizing that, hey, they're probably going to set up on the Tier 2, Tier 3, TPs in, and they just took them by surprise. Earth Spirit not having that combo because of really nice silence coming out from the side of VGR. And you just see if you can't get the combos off, it's going to be very hard for VP to take these engagements.
He's still trying to even just get an earn here. It's been a very hard game for the Earth Spirit. And with the help and credit of these very deep offensive wards from VG, they continue to find these great opportunities. And as much as Virtus.Pro would love to just kind of get a D ward out there, it's just very difficult against this Night Stalker. Part of the reason why we've been seeing a lot of these Western teams continue to give the respect to teams like LGD and stuff to ban out that Night Stalker. They really just want to make sure that the map control isn't going to be so lopsided one way or the other.
Yeah, you just don't see it often when you have Night Stalker plus Beastmaster. I mean, the Beastmaster can carry you early on with his vision, and then Night Stalker in towards the later game. So it's a good synergy between the two. It leaves a lot of focus, right? So they have a lot of single target focus, and what's punished by that is like Alliance or something. You just get pushed, constantly push them, and then they're just going to lose all their towers from VGR. But in this game, that's not the story. VP's lineup is, fight oriented, and they just haven't won the fights.
For me, at least, maybe because it could be a bit slower about the things, but when you don't really get to see that until the game is actually starting to be played out, when you recognize that there isn't a lot of push, when you need that kind of push as a counter back here for Virtus.Pro. And now when they're still trying to even take down their second Tier 1 tower of the game, you can just see where their weaknesses really are. Roche has been taken down. Aegis will be snagged up right now. And look at this, Mikasa feeling pretty good. Goes for the burst damage buildup after grabbing the Yules and the Blink. He goes right for the Dagon here. Could be a bit of a struggle for someone like the Oracle.
Yeah, even ES at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as Mikasa plays his A game right now, it's going to be so hard for VP to initiate. I mean, the puck can just shut down everything right now for VP. And they can't even really go on him because you said the Yules, you need to have a sheep stick or something on the Invoker or an Abyssal on Slark, and that's not going to happen for a very long time. But if VGR, they do try to go for this high ground, we saw how VP, we talked about it last game, they are the high ground kings. They have a lot to work with.
And Darkseer, one of the better high ground defenders you can ask for.
Oh yeah, plus the Invoker. That combo is still there. So, but it's sad though. FNG, he was forced to go for this Guardian Greaves, which it's nice this game because there's so many silences that he can take off, but you're not having that extra initiation you need with the Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
So he's just going to have to like surge in, and then at that time it could be thought out or well read.
And for Yoku here, already picking up the ulti orb, looks like a Lincoln Sphere will be in order for him. The Hex lockdown potential coming out with now this blinking DDC Lion, and obviously the silence potential that FY can bring. He'll try his best to build up some defenses to prevent all that CC, but okay, Haunt is out. They commit on in. Boulder Smash tries to slow them down a bit, but the coil has already been dropped, and with the help of the Dagon, they quickly burst down FNG. Aloha Dance tries to save himself with the Pulse Promise, but it's just going to be an overwhelming amount of damage at this point. And meanwhile, No Fear gets out the Magnetize, tries his best to mitigate a bit of the damage, but it's not going to be there.
They're also going to set up on Yoku in the mid lane. He needs to be careful. He already used it.
DDC jumps in, gets off the Hex, puts him into a little bit of a froggy here. There's the stun. Mikasa jumps in. There's the finger, and there goes the Slark, 27-7.
Yeah, you just can't go outside of your base if you're VP at this point in the game. If you do, you have to have either maybe a smoke gank up or just very well positioned. And it's hard to position against this team because you see Spectre Haunt giving all that vision. G roared.
Ooh. Yang goes out for the roar. It looked like a bit of a misstep there from VG.Reborn if they wanted to commit, but it doesn't matter if they misstep. They go in, they get G down. Spectre will lose the Aegis and get a fresh set of life and mana here. But now, as you said, Invoker, no buyback, going to be taken out of this one. We'll see if VG want to continue to pursue for a push, or it looks like they'll take things and walk away with their huge winnings. Man, now we go over it. At first, it didn't feel like one team was really ahead of the other, but now you're looking at a 10K plus advantage in the net worth department, and XP, it's even more dramatic. 15K right now for VG.Reborn.
Yeah, and it's just the Spectre scaling into the later game is going to be so effective against all of these heroes. I mean, there's just no way. You need to itemize against her, and normally that's getting the BKBs for the Desolate, and just none of these heroes are going to have it besides maybe Invoker and Slark, but that's going to take another like 20 minutes or something. They're just forced to stay on their side of the base, and they're just going to have to take a really good team fight. Like, that is the only way back for VP. They can do it. We saw some glimmer of hope this game, but it's going to be very difficult.
In the meantime, it's all VG.Reborn to be able to dictate the pace of this game here, and really not making anything easy for Virtus.Pro to kind of go outside their base and find any sort of recovery and farm. The second they step out, well, that's going to be a haunt for them. They look to commit in, they dish out the Greaves, they try their best to survive, but they can't hustle back to the base fast enough here. A Deafening Blast could help, but there goes the roar coming out from Yang. They quickly slaughter him down. Mikasa with a godlike performance in this one. There goes the finger. 3 hit the deck from the side of Virtus.Pro, and here comes the breach from VG Gaming. They make their move for Yoku. Yoku is going to get saved up with the False Promise, and nice little synergy there between the False Promise and the hefty regen of the Slark should easily keep him alive. But it looks like VG.Reborn will await the next creep wave here and consider going for a siege. 31-7, very one-sided. Oh, blink and you miss it. Aloha Dance is gone.
You just see this vision coming in from Night Stalker. There's just no way they can even walk up. It is daytime, but now you're just going to have, let me just summon that Hawk. And
yep.
With all the heroes dead, it's just so hard for them to see. You just see it. If they just go outside of their base, they just die. And
the vision game here from VG.Reborn is just ruthless. They have wards in all 3 lanes, it looks like, to scout any sort of movement outside the front door. As you mentioned, the Hawk, we got the Night Stalker. Like, this is just so crippling to Virtus.Pro in the vision game. There's nowhere they can feel safe. Everything they're going to have to do is going to have to be pretty much as a team. And when you have when you're already at the point when your team fight just does not seem to really be able to match up, and you look at their draft, they have a huge team fight kind of a draft with your Darkseer, with your Magnetize, with your Invoker. But at this point, they're just so flimsy and compared to farm.
Yeah, and the hardest thing for them is just initiating. Like, there's just no way. And you can't really counter-initiate against the Spectre. It's so difficult.
Necro 3, Blink Roar is going to be up here. There's a jump commitment from Mikasa, gets off a nice coil. The follow-up is going to be the Roar, the stun connection, and they're looking to make a go for G. They'll try their best to respond with a vacuum wall combo, but the damage may have been done here as they quickly take down 2. Magnetize is going to be going out, but the dagger chase is going to continue here, looking to get the grab on for Yoku. No fear will TP away from trouble. Yoku leaps up to the side shop to make it away, but man, ZYF not letting up, and that is all she wrote. Virtus.Pro have seen enough. They will throw in the towel in game 2. Will take just about 30 minutes to conclude here. Yep. And we're going to be going to a game number 3.
Yeah, that first game was very close. This one is just a little bit kind of coming down to, you can't even, it's a little bit of the draft there. We saw how Oracle just not a lion. Like, you have to kind of get on the target, stick on them. You have to get some sort of lockdown. And when we see that Earth Spirit not having a very good early game, and as well as he was coupled with a Darkseer, and you're against a Spectre. That's a hero that can get punished very easily early on if you're doing those rotations around, but it didn't happen because FY decided to, like, hey, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to babysit my Spectre. I don't need the Iron Talon to win. That was just an amazing start coming in.
The vision game was ridiculous. Night Stalker, 8-3 and 21. Mikasa. We were questioning his performance a little bit in day number 2 here. Game number 2, a 10-0 performance
Like his
on
laning
his puck.
stage was great. He didn't get shut down by G. That's very difficult to do when you have Invoker having Exort plus the Eidolons to work with, and then as well as the rotations coming in with the supports as well as the Spectre just shutting down the Invokers. He just had no help for G with the rotations. That's where they all were like all in at this early game for VP, and it didn't work out.
I got to pose the question again. It might be a bit tougher to pick this time around, but for VG Gaming Reborn, who would you give the nod to for MVP? For me, I mean, FY, it feels like almost the easy pick, but Mikasa, too.
I would say that's both of them are my MVPs. I give it 50-50 too. You can't just say because Mikasa had such a hard tournament, and then he just comes out and shows us what he's made of, and then FY's decision making early on as well as later in the game is just still there too.
A wonderful showing from VG Gaming Reborn, and because of that wonderful showing, we're going to be in store for a hype game number 3. We'll throw it over to the panel now after a short break to see what their thoughts were on game number 2.
E-gaming bets. We accept bets on